All right, and we live.
Why does it always?
All right. Are you unfrozen, man? Are you still? Are you just gonna be frozen this episode too?
I don't know what it is.
Hmm. Swap the audio on your mic too.
Can you hear me?
Yep,
I don't know.
coming in loud and clear.
It always happens right when we start in. Like everything's good and golden until it's time to log in, and then it's just like, bam! I'm like, damn.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's like latency because it's live streaming. I don't know. Takes a second for it to get going.
It
You
is
know,
what it is. But we here.
technology. We here though. And welcome in everybody. We hope you guys had a great week. The club is open. Bouncer is letting people in. Bouncer's not bouncing anybody out, hopefully. But how was your week, man?
Week was good. Uh, so last weekend was in Texas. It's tax free for like school clothes and stuff like that. So I had to indulge in that drama, and that was very hectic. I don't know what it is. It's like I could deal with large crowds, but it's like when there's like chaos, it's like I'm on alert, like bad. Like I'm just like I gotta get out of here. Like I can't deal with like chaotic crowds anymore. I just don't know what it is. Like my patience is thin. Like I'm on like I said, I'm on not on edge, but I'm just like all right. Like I get irritable and stuff now, so I had to deal with that last weekend. And then the CEO of the King Diamond Eye family starting school soon, so we had to do our little parent orientation day and stuff like that, and get uniforms. And my little diva, she's about to run the world, so trying to get that knocked out. What about you?
Yeah, the school orientations are always fun. But I had a good week. Monica started school this week, so it's been definitely a little different um vibe in here. It's a little more hectic. But we're making it work. It's we got to get a good schedule going. That's what I will say there because they already hit her with 500 pages of reading. First week. So no,
Yeah, but like you know how it was in school. Like they give you 500 pages, but it's like only need to focus on like the meat and potatoes of the 500 pages and whatnot. So, I mean, she'll get it. How are you adjusting to having to? I know your workload probably has to increase now because she's in school and whatnot,
yeah,
pickups, drop offs, and so forth.
yeah, yeah. Definitely has increased. I'll say it it's worth the grind. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at it from the perspective of where we're going, not where we're at. So yeah, I'm picking up more, I'm dropping off more, I'm cooking more, I'm cleaning more, but
Oh no, poor Dakota. She got to eat your food. Oh man.
hey, it's Chef AB in here. You know what I'm saying? You've been, what the quality of the food. Don't make me
You
go get the
made
hat.
one good beef short rib, and now you think you Wolf Puck or somebody famous in the kitchen. Like, come on now.
Listen, have you seen the show The Bear?
Yes, I don't know. I'll leave my comments to myself.
Okay, I'm just telling you what it is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Maybe,
So go ahead.
maybe you should do a like a TikTok video or a clip of you cooking for our fans on one of our pages.
Hey, you know what? I might do that. Cooking with AB. I'll call
Go live or
random
something.
segments. Yeah, here we are. Because we can't go live, through this platform on TikTok. We get banned for some reason, but whatever. Yeah, I might do that. I might do that. But yeah, yeah. So it's all about balance. That's what I'll say. You gotta get a schedule. We sat down, we communicated, we made a schedule that works for us, and so we'll get through it. And until then, AB's in riding. He's in charge. He's riding high. So, but it's been a good week though.
That's good. That's good.
But we got a good show for you guys. Following our 2635 Club theme of doing some stuff out of order, we're going to talk a subject that a lot of people do out of order, and that's money. Money, money, money.
Comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money. Money, money, money. Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar.
Well, that's probably why we be banging on TikTok,
That
stealing,
was just a sound effect.
stealing people's themes, songs, and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to talk money today. We're going to talk money tonight. So I think definitely in America, money is a touchy subject. I think we get a lot of there's this unwritten rule of you don't talk about your salary and you don't talk about money, but if you don't talk about money, how can you be good at money? How can you be good at saving and spending and all this other stuff that goes with money? You got to know, you got to talk, you got to communicate. And so I think, it needs to be discussed more. And I feel like the space for money is growing. There's a lot more YouTube channels and stuff that are like trying to help people with their finances. But yeah, I don't know what it is. America is just all about spending. So,
Well, we live in a capitalist society, so
that's true. It's true. And so we got to, but I think the biggest thing is people got to know when you can't spend. And I think that's like the hard part of money. It's like, okay, I can go to the club, or I can go to the bar, or I can go to Cancun, or I can go to Jamaica. Sure, I can go, you can do that, but do you have the money to afford these things? Is the question. How much of a financial impact is that going to make on you? And then on top of that, we have a lot of stuff like Afterpay and PayPal credit, where you buy it now, pay later. These systems, and we know the truth, the traps. You know, the interest is gonna. They just say, okay, we won't charge you that interest right up front, but we'll wait 6 months, and then we'll hit you with that 25% or that 30% or that 50%. And a lot of people fall into that because in reality, they didn't have the money in the first place to buy what they purchased. And so it's definitely a trap. It definitely can be a trap. So, and I know a lot of people, they don't do money correctly. They do money. I guess money doesn't necessarily have an order to do it in. I guess if you want to call it that, it doesn't. But a lot of people just do it in poor ways. So I think this is definitely going to be a good topic and discussion point. What do you think?
Yeah, totally agree, especially with these afterpays and PayPal credits. But I also think that, as society, we harp on money so much, but we don't educate people on money. Like, no school system really sits there and breaks down like credit and stocks and interest rates and stuff like that. So it's just like, well, we live in a capitalist society, and you got to have the new hottest biggest thing here now. You got to get it now, because if you don't, then it's going to be gone, and you'll be left out while everyone else has a new hottest thing. So uh society, or society does a very good job of creating that demand and that want, but we lack on educating people on how to, you know, make smart investments, even short, small investments. So I know I know at once upon a time we were kind of victims of that, especially being in the military, where
Mhm.
I'm living in a house by myself, only paying like $500 a month in rent, where I'm getting like four times that in payments and BAH and BAS and stuff, like living good, going to hibachi grills, 3-4 times a week and stuff like that. So now it's like, all right, man, like I start becoming like everybody hates Chris daddy. We be driving Mars, be like, oh, daddy, Chick-fil-A, but oh no, we ain't got Chick-fil-A money right now. Even though we have Chick-fil-A money, but oh no, not right now, or what. So it's just like
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta, it sucks, sometimes you gotta miss out on some cool experiences, but in the long run, it pays off in the end to where you're not worried about all these bills piling up and barely could afford them, or struggling living paycheck to paycheck. You can actually be like, oh no, let's go on this cruise, or let's go to Spain and Portugal, or let's take a whole 2 weeks in Europe, and you don't have to come back home and be like, I don't even know if I could pay the light bill tonight, So yeah, we this is a very good topic to go off of. I will say that.
Yeah, and I think the military definitely is a good way to show how bad some we could be with money. Because I mean, I'll say if I had to give a score of my money finances while I was in, I'd probably say I was like a 5. I don't think I was like awful, but I wasn't good either. We were definitely all
Yeah,
going out, buying Jordans and yeah, like you said, eating at hibachi, golfing and going
but
to OKC and Kansas City and Dallas but I was never like broke. So like I never was at a point where like I was like, man, I got $5. Now I'll say in the dorm. Now I take that back. I'll take that back. In the dorms, I had some times where I was like, "Oh, I got it $6."
can't even get a Happy Meal, but I'm
Can't
you
even
know
get a Happy Meal. I had some times in the dorms. Now I will say in the dorms you could get away with it a little more though, because all you didn't have rent, so all your stuff was already paid for. Your food and your lodging was paid for. So if I didn't know if all you had was $20, then you still was eating and you still had a place to sleep. So it wasn't as bad as it is now to be like, oh, I only got $6. I don't know how I'm gonna pay this bill, but so I guess what I could say is that we had a good buffer to learn money, right? Because we didn't have as much responsibility in the beginning as most people do when they get older and they go out and they're like, boom, right there. I don't know anything about credit. I don't know anything about, loans and interest and stuff like that. So I'll say in that way, the military helped us, but in other ways, it hurt us.
it was that lifestyle that hurt us. I would say that, and that freedom that you mentioned. Well, I will say though, struggling in the dorms is not really that struggling, because the defect, you had unlimited times you could eat and stuff like that. So if you was hungry, you was gonna eat. So I mean, and you had a place to stay and didn't have to pay electric bill or water bill or anything like that. So I mean, that those type of living that kind of put you on, and then but once you got out of there, back to reality, then there was like, all right, let me make sure. Sometimes we didn't stay in the nicest neighborhoods, but we didn't care because we were like, I'll pay this $400 or $500 a month to live in this house and have all this extra money to, I could do whatever I need to do with it, or go wherever I wanted to go, and make smart decisions. Though some of them weren't all that smart, but that's neither here nor there.
That's very true. And then we had some friends, that would buy houses and have 18 roommates in there,
Hmm.
splitting a mortgage. So, there was all people doing all types of stuff for their money, but some stuff was good, some stuff was bad. I think that's the beauty of life. Sometimes it's like you get the good with the bad. A lot of people, the bad sometimes helps you, in the future. So, but yep. So, all right. So we're gonna watch this video. You ever heard of the channel Financial Audit?
Oh no.
Okay. So it's a money channel, right? Where people with really bad finances come on, and he's trying to help them. My wife hates this channel because
Yeah, because you probably love it, because they probably like bash on the people like, you stupid idiot, like how could you?
so yeah, it is.
How
I
do you
mean,
not know this is a scam? It's a scam. You and your
because
scam.
yeah, some people just the obvious doesn't hit them right in the face. You know what I'm saying? It's clearly a scam. You still falling for it. Don't you answering the phone for a guy that's talking about you got a ticket in another state, sounding real suspicious. So I don't
I
know.
remember before you pop it in, the hardest one that I had to deal with was when we were up at the desk, when we were dispatchers, and an old lady called in and she was like, I bought this car for $8,000 and da, 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 da. Is there an army on the base? So like, man, this is an Air Force installation. Like, we don't have no army. Where do I pick up my car? I was like, man, I don't even know what car you're talking about. Like, I'm sorry. Like, so that was probably like the one, like, hey, pay attention, you got scam moments. But I felt bad for her, but at the same time, it was like, you didn't have a relative or someone tell you that this was a bad idea? Like, I'm sure you got family members, like your grandson or daughter or somebody that would have been like, yeah, this is not a smart move, mom.
Yeah. I've been feeling bad for older folks though, because like technology is like rapidly, going so fast and it's always changing. And it's like they didn't even have, at least we have like the basic concepts of like computers and internet and stuff. Like they didn't even have that. So now it's like they got internet, computers, AI, all this stuff. And some of this stuff, the AI is getting decent. It's not the greatest, but if you're not on the computer enough to really have that eye to be like, this is fake, I definitely could understand why people, get baited into believing that stuff. So I'd be feeling bad. I remember one time, last thing, and then we'll start the video. But I remember one time I was at my grandma's house and I was sitting there talking to her. She's like, "Oh, those scammers, they always be trying to get, calls." She's
Is
like,
that where you get it from?
she's like, I don't even answer. I don't even answer. So she was like, but one time I did answer some call, and she was like, the guy was like, "Ma'am, we're trying to get a hold of our your medical card. It has expired, and we have a new promotion for you. If you just come and you have to sign up, and then you buy a $500 gift card, and you send that gift card to me, and
Wow.
so
Like, that's the saddest part is like, that it's obvious a scam, but there's people that really be like, oh yeah, okay, I got you. Like, oh, I didn't even know that, I had that or it expired. It's like, that's how you know you're doing too much stuff. Like, you need to sit at home and relax. And
Have you seen those channels where they like basically like prank call the scammers?
nah, the ones that I do see every once in a while is where like
Sorry,
like
I'm thinking
hackers,
of one video.
the hackers will get a call from a scammer, and then they'll tell them, like, they'll show them or they'll say like their
Yeah,
address
it's
or
the
where they're
same
currently
thing.
at.
Yeah.
That one's hilarious because they're just like, like, oh shit, so
Yeah, it's funny. There's this one that it's literally hilarious. He's like he like basically he pretended to buy the fake gift card, the gift card that he wanted to redeem, but then like he was sharing his screen and he was redeeming the card, but the scammer was trying to redeem the card first, but he was able to undo the remote desktop so that he couldn't control the screen. And so like he's like moving the screen around, he's like redeeming the card, like this old woman voice. And he's like, I will redeem it. Don't redeem it. Do not redeem it. Do not redeem. He's like literally screaming on the phone. It was so funny. And she's like, no, I just redeemed 500. Like, why would you redeem it? Why? It's hilarious. All right, let's get into this video.
Business going this year?
I want to say roughly.
You spent $4,000 getting this up and running?
I spent more than that.
How much did you spend then? How much?
Probably.
Oh, you're dead.
But you have to spend money to make money in a business standpoint. I call it girl math. I don't know.
There's no fucking way. You kidding me? That's an
this
entire
is
year's.
AB exclusive
Okay,
show.
don't
This is
ask.
all he does every day.
Bundle all of my educational programs I've ever made.
First off, I like the show, you know what I'm saying? But this is not about all anything I watch. I just think it's interesting. I think it's interesting the people who come on here with their finances so jacked up, but really act like they're not that bad. It's the delusion that gets me in.
So I don't watch this on YouTube, but there is one TikToker on that he does car sales. He's a car salesman, and he be like, people be like trying to trade in their car for like a brand new like Hellcat or whatever, and he'd be like, all right, how much is your payment? And they'd be like, I'm paying $1,500 a month. And like, how much do you owe on the car? And they'd be like, $75K, but I want the, instead of having like the 23 Dodge Charger Hellcat. They want the 25, and it's like yeah, I really can't help. Like no one can help you. Like I like what is your interest rate? And then they be like saying it and be like no, but I have to have it. It's like bro, like I'm sorry, I will drive a 2008 Honda Accord that doesn't even have paint on it no more for to get me by than spend that much money on a car payment by itself. Like Jesus.
Yeah, what is that Ramsey calls it? Keeping up with the Joneses or whatever that saying is, where you're always trying to keep up with what everybody else got.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the premium version of my budgeting app for not only 80% off, but also with a free trial today at dollarwise.com. Join the tens of thousands of people who've changed their lives and join Dollarwise Central right now for free.
Hi, my name is Mackenzie. I'm 26 years old from Melbourne, Florida, and this is Financial Audit.
Thanks for coming over from Florida.
Oh dang,
What do
he
you do
makes
for a
them
living
do
there?
the intro too. That's even more savage. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, what'd you say?
I said that he even makes them do the intro. That's even more savage. That's even Jerry Springer wouldn't do some stuff like that.
Well, I will say that they do the intro, but it's fake name. And
So is this a real
it's a real person.
But it's not. She's not real Mackenzie. She's somebody else, or she's reading off like someone else's stuff.
No.
Or-
So these are her finances for real. But
Oh, okay.
because they don't want, like, some of the people have social media footprints and stuff, so they don't want people to get followers from that. So they give them fake names and stuff. But the finances are real. So that's not that person's real name, but everything about the person is real.
Gotcha.
Right.
Checks out.
So I actually work a couple jobs. I work about 4 or 5 jobs.
What, like 5 hours a week at each, or what? Okay.
No, I wish. No, I work multiple jobs, multiple days a week.
She got all
So
Okay.
my main job is I work as a nail tech. But then I also work a part-time job at a burrito restaurant. I also DoorDash. I also pet sit, and then I donate plasma on the side.
Okay, so it's mostly all hustle except for the.
I donate plasma on the side. That's not even a real. Is that a real job? Would you consider that a real job?
Nah, but you can don't. I mean, you get paid to donate. So I mean,
I know you get paid, but if somebody asked me, "What do you do?" I wouldn't say.
I'm a professional sperm donor.
Yeah, I have a 9 to 5, and I work here and I donate plasma on the side. That's not a side hustle, man.
I
It's not.
swear though, I thought she was gonna say she had a OnlyFans. I was gonna be like, yep.
There's a lot of those on here, but not this one. I don't think.
The burrito place.
Kind of.
The other
yeah.
ones are kind of the self hustle. When you're a nail tech, it's still building your own clientele, right?
Yes.
For you? Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, working those jobs, I mean, they're mostly just self hustle jobs, which I thought we were going to say, okay, I'm working at McDonald's, I'm a receptionist, I'm a nurse, and I do like all these extra jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I leave Chipotle to go to Wendy's for my next shift.
No.
But these are just side hustle jobs. These are entrepreneurial.
I mean, I still look at it as. I mean,
They are separate. They are separate jobs. It's not what it's set up to be.
It is my career choice, but I guess currently.
Well, how's that
it's a
career
hustle.
working?
Well, I'm still pretty new into it.
How new has it been? If you're 26, how long have you been doing it?
I'm in my 2nd year, but I am in my 1st year of being in business on my own.
Okay, why 1 year of not being in your business of your own did you immediately go into the business of your own?
So I straight out of school.
So right there, to me, is a definite red flag. Like, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong. Like, obviously, I feel like a lot of Americans have that, like, entrepreneurial, itch they always need to scratch, but don't ever have the plan to laid down to actually execute it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, you want to start a business, but yet you don't have any type of foundation, business plan, idea, nothing. You just go out and be a nail tech, or you just go out and be a Bartista, or whatever. I don't know, whatever businesses are trendy right now. TikTok businesses, that's what I'll call them.
Everybody sees the glamorous of being your own boss, and they listen to the Dame Dashes and all that. Which I mean, yes, there should be people out there owning their own jobs and companies and stuff like that. We do, and but at the same time, you got to make smart decisions. Like, why would you go? Why would you leave it unless you, for her instance, if you unless you had like this major clientele that was like mainly focused on you, and then you were like, all right, I'm gonna do my own thing, and they all came with you. Why would you leave a steady paycheck what for to start your own? Because then you got to think about it, you're taking more on by trying to do it yourself,
Mhm.
because now you gotta think about like all the supplies, scheduling, promos, all that stuff, to where it's like you're adding more stress that's taking away from you making more money. So that right there is a big first red flag. But what I was pulling up with the permanent market is everyone thinks that they can sell stuff and make money, but it's like not a lot of people can sell you a pin. The Wolf of Wall Street saying. So it's like a lot of people think that it's easy because you see a 15 or not 15, yeah, 15-second clip of someone saying, "Oh, I can make you do this and I make this money and I can show you how to do it." And it's like, yeah, I'm sure you can, but that's not something that can just happen overnight. That takes a long time to do it.
Yep. And like I said, no business is going to be successful if you don't have a plan. And I feel like as soon as the first thing she said was, I worked here and now I started my own, but only after 2 years. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. You could have the clients after 2 years if
Mhm.
but I doubt it. You know what I mean? Like you just probably graduated nail tech school. You just probably started, you probably weren't even in the shop that long. So you might have been doing nails for 2 years in totality, but how long have you been actually doing people's nails? See what I'm saying? Like actual other people's nails that are gonna be like, hey, you did a good job. I'm gonna recommend my cousin to you or my friend to you. That's probably less than 2 years because half of that 2 years was probably school, learning, getting set up, you know, spending that money. And then just like you said, it costs a lot more money when you're doing it on your own.
Again, I just have a huge feeling like most of her debt is probably going to be trying to get her business up and running, and while still trying to pay rent and all that extra stuff too.
Yeah, more than likely. Let's keep going.
I started off in 2 salons. I was in one of the salons for a couple months. It didn't really work out very well, and then I
Didn't work out very well. Why?
just didn't mesh very well with the owner.
Go on.
So she was actually one of my teachers in school.
Mm-hmm.
Offered, we had talked about it, offered me a place in the salon, and
I'm sorry.
What's wrong? Tell me what you're thinking.
This is red flag after red. Like, I know he's about to go in on it. Now I see why you like this show, because it's like you said, it's like this is red flag after red flag. Like,
Let's keep going.
I don't even know.
Took
I'm
it
not
and-
even into nails, and I already know this is horrible.
I honestly really don't know. It just
Come on.
No, I really don't. Out of nowhere, the one day my roommate and I actually
I really don't know why I got fired. Out of nowhere, one day my manager just messaged me and said, "You're fired." No idea. No, absolutely no idea why would he be fired. I just
It was Bad Girls Club. They were gossiping about each other and this and that, and I'm not. She thinks that she owns me or something. I'm not coming in. Like, she can. All right, well, you're fired then. How are you gonna fire me? I don't even know what I did wrong.
Yeah, people are wild. I just think, like, now remember, we talk about, there's no direct order of like to do stuff in. So like she's doing the business, and shout out to her, even trying it, because some people wouldn't even make it that far. But at the same time, like you have to be realistic in what is going on in your life. And she's already not being realistic. You can already tell by her language, her body language, that she's not ready to accept any responsibility on the things that she has done wrong to get her here.
worked there together.
What happened?
And I'm not joking. I was at I think it was like a Memorial Day party, or whichever one is in like later in the year. I don't remember, but Labor Day.
Go
Whatever.
on.
But we literally got a text message saying that she was not renewing our contracts for the month.
Oh,
and
there
that
we go. Okay, so it wasn't you weren't meshing well. It's maybe you were not a good employee, or she had to scale back her business, so she was going in a different direction. So come on. I mean, that's an immediate mislead of the
But
conversation.
she still was an educator at the school, and my sister went to
So?
that school.
I don't get
The thing
what
she
my
was
teacher
saying,
from high school has to hire me
not high
to.
school.
No, I am saying my teacher from college has to hire me to go work at that college. Like, what the fuck are you talking
Well,
about?
no, but my sister still went there, and so she was kind of running her mouth about how we were not like she didn't like us like working there.
Cool.
Things we were saying, things were
Good.
happening between.
That's why you got fired.
Sorry to hear that, but
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You heard it right there. That's why she got fired.
Oh,
But
no
like-
one is entitled to keep their job if their boss does not like them. Sorry,
Yeah,
her business.
yeah, but I mean, when you're bringing in business, I think it is a little
Okay,
bit
clearly it
different.
wasn't enough though, and she was able to do better with someone else. Or
But if
else
I'm able to sustain her business while she's working another job, then
it wouldn't be that. The money would win. Clearly, you were not doing enough. Listen, and if you were, your business would be successful, and you're working 3 other jobs. So I would assume it's not. So tell me what's going on with this 1 year of nail tech.
So I was in the other salon that I started out straight out of school. I was in a second salon also, and was there for about a year. It was great at first, and then things just kind of started not aligning very well. Everybody was kind of going in their own different directions. Things just kind of started taking a turn for the worse in the salon, and so I was kind of already looking at other
Why
options.
does it seem to be everything except for you? By the way, why is it always things are going wrong somewhere else?
Well,
Like immediately picking up on this.
Victim mentality. Can't make any changes to your life. You're just gonna play victim the whole time.
Process of elimination. And I try to do this in all aspects of my life. If something keeps reoccurring, then at the end of the day, like what they say, shame me once or fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Like after the third time, like you got to realize, like you're the common denominator in all this. Like it has to be you. Like what are you? You're doing something incorrect, so you need to change something.
Exactly. And that's why as we keep going, but one of the things about this show is just like the denial. It's the denial that these people are in. And it can be hard. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not hard to sometimes sit back and realize, okay, I'm failing at what I'm trying to do. But if you don't have that realization, what are we doing? What are you doing here? How can you be like, okay, I'm gonna do it out of order, but I did it. You're not gonna do it if you don't look at what you're doing. You're never gonna get to I did it.
Yeah, and then you also got to think about like kind of like your situation with going to school. Like you like sometimes you got to take a big L now for it to pay out in the future. Like so it's like maybe you had to do it to where you can't get the new iPhone or whatever. You got to stick with the iPhone 13 for an extra year or two, or whatever, until you pay off some more debt to where you can it's easier, or you could just pay the phone off outright. Like sometimes you got to take those would seem like a major L now, but it'll pay off in the long run type stuff. And it doesn't sound like she does that either.
Yeah, I would agree.
Why is it those who are like a victim and everything in life and nothing else is their fault are the ones who usually end up in the worst position? I.e. the people that come on the show. Oh, it's almost like it's like something's going on. It's like that mindset gets you nowhere. Who would have thought? I don't know. You have
I'm
glitter in your
trying
hair.
my hardest. I do have glitter in my hair. No,
So how's your business going this year? Your first year in business on your own. Tell me.
So it's only been a couple months.
You told me it was a year of
well, this is I'm in my first year of being in the
Okay,
business.
so what's happened these last 2 months then, lady?
I'm doing okay.
What's okay?
I mean, my books are not full.
Can you tell me
Empty?
how much you made last month?
Last month,
On just your own nail tech business. What are you even doing it out of? A shared place?
I do have a suite mate. We rent a business suite together that we operate out of.
Right.
So
Right. So what did you make last month?
I want to say roughly 500. It varies month to month, so it's kind of
500 varies month to month. It's been 2 months.
yeah. I mean, it's varied month to month
You
since
know
I
what?
started.
I can probably already guess. They probably try to find a suite in one of the nicest neighborhoods or the nicest areas instead of just getting some hole in the wall that's like probably a fourth of that what they're paying for that suite. To where they, if they would have did it that way, they could have. I'm pretty sure the owner of the suite would have let them remodel it the way that they wanted to remodel it. It probably has like all that suite that they're in probably has like marble and all this extra stuff that they could have probably just went to Home Depot, got some stick 'em fake marble stuff, and would have made more money doing it that way. But
This woman said $500 a month.
It just is dependent on business.
$500.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of your 4 jobs, I'm hardly considering that one of them.
Okay.
It's a hobby that brought in a little extra.
I'm
How
trying
many-
to build
yeah,
it into
how
a
many-
career.
There's a million nail techs.
That's why
I'm
she
sorry,
working
it's
on the
going to be an
burrito place.
incredibly competitive field. I'm not saying you can't make it, but come on,
Yeah,
$500.
and what was her other
$500 a
4
month?
jobs?
You were
Uber,
able to pull into your clients
or
from your
DoorDash,
previous locations,
dog
I
from your
did pull
previous
some of
jobs.
them.
Only $500 worth, so clearly none.
Yeah, but I mean, people don't get their nails done every day. I mean, I had you. They
Then you have
typically
to
come
build up
in
a bigger clientele.
3 to 4
And you
weeks. at a
clearly
time.
didn't.
I'm trying.
I'm trying. Interesting. It's an interesting philosophy.
I mean, what else am I supposed to do? You want me to go drive
Go
people in
work
off
for
the street?
someone else and build up a larger
But
clientele
none
for
of
over
the
a course of a
salons in
few
the area
years.
offer a decent like commission pay.
Yeah, you make $500.
Yeah, but that's better than me going in and making a 30% commission.
30% commission with more clients.
But it's not guaranteed because even some of the girls
How
that
much
I know
a month
that
are you
work-
making on average in the previous position? You were bringing in a lot of clients. You were just jerking yourself off. You were incredible for that business. I was the queen. I did all the nails. I brought in all the ladies. I supported her business myself.
Again, it just kind of varied on depending
on
on who
average.
needed.
Go on.
$600 to $800 a month.
Okay, so no, you weren't actually a very good employee. I'll be honest.
These numbers are these numbers are baffling. I mean, and I don't understand. Do you understand? Because I don't understand.
even then, unless you knew you were going to make more than what you are making now, why would you even put yourself in that predicament? Why?
I don't know. $800, and then you start your own business and you drop down to 500, and it's probably not even 500
It's probably
because
like 385.
maybe not even that. Probably zero, to be honest. If you consider rent, and because she was probably only paying just booth rent in the salon before, now you're paying whole rent, electricity, water, gas, whatever else, all the cost of all the equipment that you got to bring in. That stuff adds up fast.
That, and she was so she probably was so focused on the 30%. I refresh my memory. Did she say she was only making 30% or she was getting charged 30%?
She was making 30% commission.
Okay, well, that's probably why. But even then, if you're making 30% and you're making $300 more than what you are that you make on your own, that's when you're like, all right, I got to pack this up and do what I got to do. Like,
Yeah, pick up some hours making burritos.
yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like no, this is not working. You have to build this up over longer, and now you're renting a suite. Okay, that $500 you brought in. Go ahead, then. What's your rent?
So the way that me and my suite may have it worked out.
Yeah, go
is
ahead. What's
she
your
just-
rent?
The full rent is $542 or $742 a month. Sorry, split between the two of us. And then she just takes
And
a
you brought in $5.
commissionable. Well, that's after she takes my commission to cover my part of the rent.
Huh? Did that make any sense to you? After you're sharing a space and she's taking commission from you to pay your rent, why don't you just split the rent?
Please proceed.
Why is structuring it so weird instead of just paying half the rent? Okay.
I offered to do it that way. This was the way that she chose and said that it would be easiest to do is she just takes
Yeah,
the
'cause she probably makes
percentage.
more money.
She might make more money out of it somehow if it gets overly convoluted and you both don't understand it.
I think neither of us really have an understanding of it, but we're just kind of winging it and hoping for the best.
Colton's telling me right now. I mean, just the salon you had after the salon that you got fired. Yeah, you were kind of mentioning it. You had bad vibes.
Mhm.
Quote from you in the conversations you had. Bad vibes, so you just left.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. So I mean, that's what you've told the producers. So yeah, let's go ahead backtrack now that we're on camera. Let's do that.
So yes, I left, but I wasn't originally planning on leaving fully from them. I had originally told them that I was going to step down to 1 or 2 days a week.
So what happened?
I just wasn't loving it.
It was a bad vibes.
My sweet mate had made the decision on her own that she was going to kind of step out and do her own thing and offered me a place to do that with her. So I decided to take a leap of faith when I probably shouldn't have, but I did.
Oh, you jumped and now you can just
I'm
hit
drowning.
the rocks at the bottom.
Yeah. But I let them know that, hey, you know, I'm going to be dropping down to 1 or 2 days a week and, you know, just to try and keep supporting
Why
you guys.
didn't you?
Because a couple hours later that day, they sent out a message saying that they were actually just going to close the salon. So they gave us till April.
That's weird.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so $500 a month. It says that after equipment as well.
Yes.
I doubt it. Come on, are you actually budgeting that? There's no way you would be budgeting that properly.
Most of my
if you're
stuff
on
was
the
bought
show.
in bulk up front, so I have minimal costs.
Are you not
monthly.
aggregating it month to month, or are you running it net month to month? So you have the boom big expense that covers the next few months, but you just count it against that month, or are you counting it against the other months as you use the supplies?
No, it's just kind of a.
How much did that cost? That big one-time cost
to start?
Yes, because you're only 2 months in, so you did this. I'd guess 2 months ago. How much was that one-time cost?
Several $1,000s.
Okay, I'm gonna f***ing die. That's wonderful.
Have you had enough yet?
Yeah, I had enough.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you don't do your finances right there. That's how you don't do them.
I mean, the premise of the channel is pretty hilarious. So, like I said, I know why you watch it because you love to see how to bash on people on their ill-advised stupidity. But yeah, no, I had enough. Like,
Your brain is hurting. It's hurting right now.
I mean, like I get having like I said, I've had financial issues. Well, not really financial issues, but like moments where it's like check to check and stuff like that, where I was like, I can't do that, or I splurge a little more than what I should. But I wasn't that idiotic. I think like my own financial experiences where it was like rough is like right when I got out of the military, but I moved to a whole new city that I didn't know anyone or didn't have a job like right away. So I just got the quickest job that I could get while still having paychecks from the military, and then working my way up to getting a better paying job up until a job that I'm at now. So
yeah, I mean the grind is one thing, but just total stupidity is not optimal for a financial situation. I just think that people get way too like I guess we circle back to the beginning. By having the want to be an entrepreneur is fine, but you got to know you got to know what you're doing. You got to have a plan. I won't even say you got to know what you're doing. You just have to have a plan. You just have to have a solid plan and you have to, every time you get somewhere in your plan, you got to stop, look, and be like, where am I going? Where have I been? Where am I going? And most of these people, I'll just say most people in general, don't do that. They don't set financial goals. They don't set budgets. I got heavy last year before we moved to New York. I already knew, like I knew Monica was gonna want to do the law school thing. So I was like, okay, we got to set ourselves up financially so that she can do this, right? We're gonna be down to one income. So I was like, we don't need any debt. So I spent all 2024 paying off debt, paying off car payments, credit cards. And when I paid stuff off, I got rid of it. If I paid a credit card off, I closed it. I didn't reopen it. I didn't even allow that temptation to be like, oh yeah, you want to eat out? Okay, we only got $50. So, swipe this card instead. I cut it all out. By the end of the year, not only did we pay off all our cars, all our credit cards, we still were able to go on a cruise. And I got married that year. So it's possible. It's doable. You don't have to make $150,000 a year to do it. You just have to budget.
Yeah, it's consistency. You gotta like people start budgets or they'll start a plan and then 2 months into it, then they'll be like, this one time won't kill me, and then that one time becomes the next 6 months, and then you're back in the same predicament. You're in a deeper hole than what you were originally.
Exactly. Eating out. You just like you said earlier. Mars talking about Chick-fil-A. No,
Mm-mm.
I can make Chick-fil-A at home.
Yep, I go to Sam's Club, buy the waffle fries from there, putting my own little seasoning on it. There you go.
You go to the chicken breast,
Mm-hmm.
dip it in some flour, throw it
I
in the
mean,
oil.
Walmart, HEB, Sam's Club, they all sell the exact same thing. It's just not coming from. It doesn't have Chick-fil-A on the bag. And
Exactly.
open on Sundays. That's it. Only difference.
Yeah, exactly. And so, if you're gonna change your life financially, man, you gotta have financial discipline. That's where it starts. You gotta have discipline. Once you get the discipline, make your budget and follow your budget. Use your discipline to follow your budget. Then, finally, the last thing is every probably 6 months, look at your budget. Look where if your goal was to pay off debt or just pay off a car or save for a car. How close am I to this goal? Is this 6 months being am I closer over this 6 months or I'm in the same place for these past 6 months? If your answer is not any closer, you're not doing something right. So that's really we can't give you any more better advice than that. And as there's gonna be somebody who's gonna watch a clip of this episode and be like, but but you don't know how expensive food is, and you don't know how expensive this is and that is. Well, you can't afford it, buddy, so don't buy it.
But there's always like people be stuck in their ways. Like I know it's hard to go from craft to great values. Like everybody thinks like that's so horrible, but hey, man, you got to do what you got to do to get ends meet. One thing I've learned that I had to stop doing was as I was buying produce. Like so, I usually buy my groceries throughout the week. For one on Sundays, I buy my groceries and then last me the week. But what I learned, what I was doing wrong is I was buying produce and stuff like that. Like I would be like, all right, Wednesday, I'm gonna make like stuffed bell peppers, whatever. So I'd buy the bell peppers on Wednesday and then or on Sunday, and then by Wednesday they were already something was wrong with them to where it was like, dang, I just wasted this money on bell peppers where unless so now if unless I'm making it that same day, I ain't buying no produce or nothing that I know unless it's like bananas that I know I'm gonna eat like throughout the week or whatever. But
Yeah,
or
produce goes bad quick. That's
yeah.
one thing that's like you gotta lettuce,
Mm.
because spinach, that stuff gonna be gone in about 3-4 days. Like, we ain't about to eat that. But yeah, you gotta be like conscious. Like, I'm not saying you gotta shop at Save a Lot and Aldi's every week, but you could still shop at your local grocery store that's a little higher price, but you gotta make sure that you're conscious on what you're putting in your cart. You know, hey, you can still get chicken breast, you can still get mac and cheese, or you can still get Kraft. You just gotta budget for it.
Yeah. Like for me, when I know when I have excessive money, that's when I buy all my meat. I'll buy my meat and then I'll just put it in the freezer and then slowly but surely be like, oh, we need to make this. Oh, all right, I got this meat in the freezer and let's pull it out. So
And yeah, I just think the biggest thing with in the US is just people, they'd rather complain than fix it.
nah, you know what it is. They say this is a big rich town.
I mean, yeah, you can want that, but you know, even characters like Ghost from Power, he had to endure the grind.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna. I'm not gonna promote it, but you know he was doing something different to help
Yeah,
elevate him quicker. But
right. You know, but what I'm saying is there's a grind no
no, I get
matter.
what you're saying. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that we can't use Ghost as a prime example.
I mean, Ghost is not a good example. Don't do anything Ghost did unless you want to end up in jail. But what I'm saying is that there's just always a grind. So it doesn't matter what example we use. I'm just saying that I feel like more people get online and complain and have no solutions than these channels such as, Financial Audit or Ramsey. They want to get on there in the comments in there and be like, but Ramsey's 60-year-old boomer who doesn't 70-year-old boomer who doesn't understand houses don't cost $50,000 anymore. Yes, they don't cost $50,000. And if you don't have the money to buy a house, don't buy a house, buddy.
I mean, you could. It's just not gonna be the house that you want at the. It's not gonna
Or
be the
yeah, or that too.
glamorous house. Like when I bought my house wasn't the. I knew my house that I bought was in my forever home, but I knew that the area where it was gonna build up, and the value of the house was gonna skyrocket up to it. And if I built it up if I did the improvements on the house, then it was going to be it's an investment to where it was like, all right, like the next house can be the Gucci house that has all the nice the Martha Stewart showroom house or stuff like that. So you just got, like you said, you just got to have a plan and be like, all right, like I can't buy a 2026 Chevy Tahoe, but I could buy 2017 or or something like
Yeah.
that, or I can't buy me a 25 Chevy Silverado Midnight Edition, but I could buy a 2016 that's low mileage that's going to cost me like $200 a month instead of $785 a month just for the payment itself, not including car insurance. So like you said, you just gotta there's ways to do it. It's just some people don't figure it out that way.
And yeah, so and I'm not trying to be hard on anybody. Like if you're in a true like a financial situation, like a true like you're in true poverty. Okay, that's not the same. I'm not talking about those people. I'm not talking about somebody that's is out there working every day, but they got a felony, so they only can get jobs where they only get paid $10 an hour. Okay, that person's in a completely different boat than what we're talking about. I'm talking about the everyday American that making $50,000 or $60,000, but is still complaining that they can't afford stuff. I'm not saying things aren't expensive. There are stuff that is expensive, absolutely, but there's alternatives.
It's because the bottle services ain't cheap no more, man.
I know. We need someone in the comments to get bottle service because
They be paying $400 for a $60 bottle, but they have to do it because they gotta show everyone that there's
flex.
yeah. But have you seen like a new trend that I saw that it baffles me, especially financially, is when people be going on like TikTok or Instagram and they be giving these sob stories about how they like lost everything or like they don't got no place to eat or sleep, and people be donating money to them and stuff like that. Like some people make like income just by giving these sob stories.
No,
Or
I've
people
never
like
seen
living
that.
in their cars and they're like they post it live or whatever, and then like people be
I've seen the living in the car stuff I've seen before. I don't know if people like I used to tell Monica all the time, like, are people living in their car for sympathy or are they living in their car to like get somewhere?
they trying to get celebrity status.
So like I'm like if you okay, like I feel like living in your car to uh you know reach your financial goal is very extreme. But I mean if you feel like that's the best solution, by all means. But then when you make TikTok videos or IG shorts or whatever, indicating like I don't know. You people feel bad. You know people are gonna feel bad for you. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a little misleading because it's not like you're homeless because you don't have a choice. Like there's homeless people who live on the streets because they are truly homeless. They don't, they're strung out on drugs or whatever. But you're just choosing to live in your car so you ain't got to pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you really want to make videos and try to be like, day in the life of living in my car, day in the life of a homeless. I seen
Hey
this.
guys, this week, I had to do this and eat ketchup packets because I'm living in my car.
Yeah, I saw one where it was like a mom. She was like single mom living in her car. I was like, I don't like you, and you already know what type of comments you're gonna get on that.
CPS.
Yeah, so you got she's getting a lot of that stuff, but I'm like that's risky, man. Just
I
crazy.
I ain't losing my kids over no celebrity status or
Yeah,
trying to get celebrity status.
I would never do such a thing. Like, it's one thing if you want to live in your car as an adult, you say like, yeah, I want to live in my car. But once you get kids, I don't.
We know someone who has a horrible history, and he would probably be the only person I know that would be like, yeah, I want to live in my car. But anybody else, but knowing the person that who I'm talking about, like at that point, he probably wouldn't even have a choice on living in his car. Like it would be like
It's
he
just
has
that
nowhere to
down
go.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wish that on anybody.
No.
Don't get me wrong, but he has made some poor choices to where I'd be like, it wouldn't be a surprise, is what I would say.
We used to joke around all the time. I was like, when we go out and party and get messed up, and like if he took care of us that night, then we knew we had to reanalyze our lives, because if he took care of us, then we were that bad. Like,
Yeah, it'd be down bad, down bad.
it was like, who do you know goes into a bar and they automatically gets hit with like, yeah, you didn't pay your tab, you owe $100 and something, like within like 2 minutes of sitting down, like,
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, listen. If you walk into any establishment that you haven't been to in months and sit down, and before you can even order anything, they bring you a bill,
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
that's your sign to leave.
When a waitress you have never met a day in your life knows you by your first and last name, that's the time to run.
I would agree with that as well.
So-
Agree with that as well. Anyways, well, we have made it to the 1 hour mark. I can't believe it. Watching, listening, talking about money. But we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We talked a little bit about money today, And like we said in the beginning, it's never too late to get your financial situation straightened up. Maybe we'll bring somebody like a finance coach, not like one of the scamming ones, but a real one who can talk about money to the people. But
We'll let you do the initial interview to allow them to come on the show, so you can spot a scammer a mile away. So
I sure can. I'm
So-
really good at that. I have a keen eye for them scammers. But yeah, maybe we'll bring someone on here that could give some advice on finances and how you can dig yourself out of that financial rut if you are in one. And if you are in one, you don't need a whole bunch of fancy classes and tools and stuff. Sit down, make yourself a budget, start there. How much am I bringing in versus how much is coming out? You start there, you'll probably fix most of your problems if you just sit there and do that. You don't need to pay $1,000 for some class or someone to teach you about flipping houses. Okay. You're not going to be able to flip a house if you can't even pay your mortgage.
quick money. What did Denzel say on the ESPN this week?
I don't know, but I wanted
Not all money is good money.
Yeah, that is true. If he said that, I agree with that. I didn't get to see that interview. I want to see that.
Well, you gotta watch it. It was pretty. Yeah, he went in on the Cowboy. He went in on Jerry Jones, but him and Spike, that was a good interview. I would say that.
Okay. So I'll put it on my list of things to do. But we are out of here, y'all. We hope you enjoyed the episode. We will be back next Friday. Same time, same place, same line that you were in today. You know, hopefully the bouncers and it didn't rain on y'all outside in the area, but you know, if it did, we'll add an awning. You know, we get some money, we'll expand the building.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys listening to us talk trash about this lady for a good 45 minutes. But as always, positive mindsets make positive outcomes. This is Club 2635. Deuces.
Peace out, y'all.